Welcome to the Gadsden County 4-H Tropicana Public Speaking Judges Orientation. First of all, let me say thank you for agreeing to participate as a judge in this annual event. Your service and your time, your talent is much appreciated. So let's get right into it. Your role as a judge is to listen and look, then to critique each presentation based on a standard. And in your judge's orientation packet that you received a copy of this judging sheet. And every participant will be judged based on this standard. It is not a comparison between the presentations. That's why each presentation is judged right after it is given. Ranking happens once all the scores are done and we look at the total scores for each individual. It's from highest to lowest. We give out first, second, third, and honorable mention. We also have a trophy for each age division, and it's called our roving trophy because we take it to the shop and have the names of the schools put on the plaque that's on the front of the trophy, and it gets to sit in that school for a year. The youth can give a speech on any topic that they choose, and the guidelines says that those speeches need to be in between 2 to 3 minutes, and the 4-H Tropicana Public Speaking School Enrichment Program supports the language arts that the students learn and gives them an outlet to demonstrate the knowledge that they have gained in their specific grade levels. And this program covers grades 4th through 6th. So let's go back and look at the score sheet. The score sheet is made up of two components. Component A is composition, which counts for 50% of the score, and component B is presentation, which also counts for 50% of the score. The total points that a youth can earn is 120 points. So let's go back under composition. So we're looking at the choice of the material, the topic that they're presenting on. Is it original? Is it unique? And we will provide you a copy of the previous year's, last 2 years, speech topics so that you can look to see if it's unique. And you can have your little cheat sheet with you so you can tell. Of course, introduction is important because it sets the tone, it sets the interest, it captures the attention of the audience. The effective use of the body or the main portion of the speech. Did it flow logically? Was it smooth? And in the body is where we get the details, the information, the guts of the story. And then the wrap up. The conclusion, the summarizing of the materials, they told you what they talked about, and that recap. The speeches must be between 2 to 3 minutes. And there will be a timekeeper who will make that adjustment to the score sheet. The presentation, which counts again for the other 50% of the score total. The audience bond. They have established and maintained eye contact with the audience. Now, this I want to tell you that the speeches do not have to be memorized. Matter of fact, I encourage youth to bring outlines so that if they forget their speech because they chose to memorize it, they have something to glance at to get right back on track. It also helps when you're a little bit nervous. Sometimes your mind can go blank. So having that outline is good. So the speeches do not have to be memorized. So that's something that's very important. The delivery of the speech, did the student appear to be relaxed? Was the delivery fluid and smooth? Pronunciation, correct and clear articulation. And then specifically articulation, clear and easy to understand. Volume and effective use of volume. Did they go down low? Did they come up loud? At certain points because it fit in the speech and it wasn't awkward. Or were they rhyme, nom, 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 yum, yum, yum? That's monotone, and in effective speech, monotone, you lose people. And of course, the speed of the speech. And there's some parts of a speech, depending on the type of speech, it may be need a little segment where they slow it down a little bit, and then they speed it up. And that's just part of the delivery of the speech. After you have assigned your points under each category on the score sheet where it says students' points, you will then take and pass your score sheet to the table that is behind you, where the tabulators will add up the scores for you. You do not have to add up your scores. And make sure that your initials or your name is on your score sheet so that if we have any questions, we need clarification, we know what specific judge we need to come to get those questions answered. This is when you must be objective. When listening and looking, observing the whole complete presentation of that youth, you must be objective. I know that we have some things that we are more interested in, and we tend to give our ears to those things, and the things that we're not as interested in, we tend to tune out. But to be fair and to be the quality judge that I know that you are, you will listen attentively, and you can make notes on your score sheet, however you need to do, and so that you can help to come up with your point assignment for your specific categories. And once the presenter is done, then the NC will take the time to ask them questions and gives you time then to assign your points for those assigned categories. Now, you have to decide, are you going to be the one that's the earner type of judge? Everybody starts at 0 and you can earn up to your 10 points per category. Or you're going to be a deductor type of judge. Everybody starts with 10, and then I start taking off points, based on if you met these things. Whichever route you choose, be consistent so that you'll have an even flow as you are evaluating each student. And again, remember, because, and I pause that, but just know that you are critiquing each speech separately based on this set standard of the score sheet. So you have to listen carefully, then you have to evaluate. Some judges like to hold back, and because they hadn't heard all the speeches, and then their scores vary. But for you to be a consistent judge, again, choose if you're going to be an earner or a deductor, and then critique the speeches based on the standard. So please be familiar with this score sheet. And then the ranking happens again at the end when all the scores are added up. And if we have ties, then we have tiebreakers. So those are in place to help us to move through the process. So how will you get to be subjective? Well, we have what we call superlatives that we give out to the students in 6 different categories. Of course, that is the highest or very best in a specific category. This is where you get to choose based on your liking, your decision of who fits into that category best. Of course, there's going to be some negotiation because you have 2 other judges that are working with you. And so as a team, you will need to come up with your choice for the 6 categories. A person can place first through honorable mention and receive a superlative. And sometimes, some categories, we do not give out a certificate because no one's speech fits into any of those categories. So as you are listening to the speeches, you will kind of keep in mind what speech you felt fit those 6 superlative categories. And then again, of course, you will negotiate with your fellow judge team members to make your choices. Well, the audience gets to choose as well, and we call that the People's Choice Award. And they get to be the judge and make their choices. Once we know who receives what recognitions, we move into the awards and recognition program. Of course, as a judge, you will be recognized. Your services are valuable, and we could not recognize you. And then we ask you to assist us with the awards and recognition of the other participants. And those participants include our teachers. And so we have a moment when we recognize our teachers, and then we recognize our youth. With that understanding about the recognition program, you want to make sure that you are dressed appropriately. Business or business casual is fine, and that you feel comfortable and ready to stand in all those photo opportunities that will take place during the awards and recognition program. And again, thank you so much for taking the time to volunteer and judge one of the long-standing and most successful 4-H school enrichment programs that we have, and that is the 4-H Tropicana Public Speaking Program.